resolving the Malian crisis end without agreement. The West African nation's political elite reel under the heavy clampdown by the military junta. In Edo State, election day draws closer and accusations of intimidation, threats and violence are not going away. Also on Political Update today, the cross of the umpire, the election day and post-election litigations. We have expert analysis and informed opinions on the program. Welcome to Political Update, NTA's eclectic political ensemble. I'm Fisayo Ogunfuyi. Welcome. Talks in Mali aimed at resolving the political situation in the aftermath of last week's coup d'etat have ended without an agreement. The country's new military leaders and West African mediators wrapped up days of talks without settling on the return to civil rule. The leader, ECOWAS delegation, former Nigerian President Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, said President Ibrahim Boubacar Keita has indicated that he has resigned and that he was not forced to do so. Keita also says he does not want to return to power. The former Nigerian leader also said the issue of lifting sanctions was discussed by both parties and promised to make these points during the extraordinary summit of heads of state and government of ECOWAS, which is expected to hold this Wednesday. The Malian junta undertook the promise to release other personalities arrested depending on the security situation of the country. Back home, ahead of the gubernatorial elections in Edo State next month, the APC has begun word-to-word campaigns. Let's take in the campaign train's visit to Oriawan local government area.
The APC commenced its word-to-word campaign tour, beginning from the local government of the party's candidate. When Pastor Izeyamu touched down in Ogbogo, Ward 5, the people came out to welcome him. Some of the APC leaders, including the former national chairman of the APC, Adams Oshomole, and the former deputy governor in the state, Pius Odubu, in their speeches, reiterated the need for the people to vote for Pastor Izeyamu for good governance.
Edo people must remove a man who remove Gary from their table. They must remove a man who not build one school for Orion. They must remove a man who stopped the road that I was doing in Orion. They must remove a man who promised to build health center for Orion. One bed did not do.
The main thrust of our campaign is the simple agenda, which is the manifesto of our flag bearer, Pastor Sage Izeyamu. It was surprising that wherever we went, when Pastor Sage Izeyamu started explaining the meaning of simple agenda, which is an acronym, the people we went to meet were already abreast of the meaning of the simple agenda.
From Uboko, Ward 5, to Ekpoko, Yoba, Ward 4, and Upeka, Ward 3, where the APC campaign train visited, the people and other party members expressed the belief that Pastor Izeyamu is a reliable and trustworthy candidate.
I believe in him because he's an open man. What the whole essence of democracy is about participation. It's about giving you the opportunity to be involved in the development of yourself, in your management. That potential is what Pastor Sage Izeyamu has.
We have resolved that since a major political party, more so the APC, brought out our son, an indigene of Igbo Dodo, Pastor Barrister Dr. Sage Izeyamu, we are turning out en masse across party lines to vote for him massively.
The APC candidate expressed happiness with the reception accorded him. He promised not to let the people down and sued for their vote.
Last 4 years, there's been no evidence of government's presence. Nothing has been done in this area in the past 4 years. And so how can you be talking about continuity? You know, continuity of what? Neglect or marginalization. So their own son is coming and they believe that their own son will be able to deal with their issues and solve their problems. So they are very excited, and it's more of lost prayers and prayers and prayers And I'm assuring them that what they lack, by the grace of God, through government and their vote will provide.
Earlier, the APC campaign train visited the palace of the Nogi of Ugo Niyokerionwo, Ogeraki Ogiogu.
Meanwhile, the incumbent governor and the PDP flag bearer, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, was in Esan Central to woo the citizens.
Train of the PDP was in Irwa, Uwesa, Ibore, Ewu, and Ubegun, where party leaders gave reasons why the electorate should vote the PDP candidate at the September polls.
The man who is ready and prepared to move Edo State forward is Obaseki.
Governor Obaseki said all promises made in the 2016 electioneering have been fulfilled. He promised to address all challenges faced in the area if re-elected.
Uwesa na agric, food, farm, now that they do. Because we get land. But without road, we not go fit do farm. That is why this is our government. We say we go do road for now. We not fit do all the road at the same time because the money not there. But if we dey do small, after some years, we go down do all the road when they. Not be so.
The Royal Highnesses Ogirwa of Irwa, the Okejesa of Esa Land, and the Onoji of Ewu Kingdom also received the PDP candidate and his team.
I want to say thank you for all you are doing in Ewu, the development you have brought to this town. This road for over 25 years was not possible, but God used you to solve this problem. Ewu people are glad.
The visit to Esa Central Local Government concludes the tour of Edo Central Senatorial District for the PDP campaign team.
The election mood, tension, uncertainty, and permutation seem to have gripped the Edo people. The candidates and the electorates are wondering what will happen on D-Day next month. To ensure a hitch-free exercise is the umpire, INEC, and we're being joined by INEC National Commissioner for Information via Skype, that is Mr. Festus Okoye. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
And also here in the studio we have Dr. Mukhtar Imam. He is a political analyst and is also a lecturer of international relations and diplomacy based university. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Let's start from the perspective of the umpire. You have warned the participants to tone down their language. Are they cooperating?
I believe that they are cooperating. I just came back from Edo State with our director in charge of voter education and the deputy director in charge of publicity, and the supervising national commissioner for Edo State is still in Edo State. We have gone around, and we believe that the political parties know that we are serious. They know that we are determined to conduct this election. They know that we have what it takes to sanction any of the political parties and any of the candidates that does not tone down his or her language. And they also know that what we have is what we call end of tenure elections. So we believe that this will be reinforced by the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission when he visits Edo State within the week. So they are cooperating, and we are determined to go on with this election.
Now in terms of, the new realities and the new protocols you have put in place and what to expect in terms of the size. Of course, we had a little sampling size in the by-elections we held earlier in Nasarawa State. But what are you expecting in terms of the organization of this exercise in Edo State in view of, present realities?
Well, this is a bigger election. And what we did in Nasarawa Central State constituency was just to test run some of the processes and procedures and some of the protocols that will be put in place in the Edo governorship election. So we believe we are on course. We believe that we have procured all the necessary
all right, we'll still try and rejoin Mr. Okoye once the signal strength is better. We'll still try and rejoin him. Let's quickly come to you, Dr. Imam. You're saying pictures from Edo State. What are your expectations in terms of the conduct of the exercise?
Well, thank you very much, first and foremost. And I am very glad my big brother, the one I like to call the professor of the electoral umpire, Barrister Festus, has spoken to you. You've heard this side of the story. He has been on ground, well, the report coming from him seemed quite optimistic. But by and large, as a spectator and from a spectator's lens or lenses, the issues around campaign are still aligned along the same narrative of the old rhetorics we used to have. From what we have seen, we have heard, we've seen on social media, heard in the course of the campaign, So I'm quite optimistic that the elections will turn out well. But at the end of the day, the substance around politicking and the formation of political parties itself is still missing. There are certain ingredients that are still very essential that must be brought on board into the conversation as far as relationship between electorates and, of course, those who they elect to run position of office is concerned. Our political parties still lack certain key issues, and they revolve around deliberate plan that will speak to what the people actually want. You would see that the issues around what's happening in Edo State at present is the same story we're hearing revolving around. What the incumbent governor is saying is perhaps what he said when he was in the APC. It's the same story the people are hearing. Now, the reason why this is so is because our political parties still lack ideological roots. The value systems for which parties should stand are still very missing. And part of the reason why this is so is because of the primordial attachments that our political parties are aligned towards.
Doctor, you still help us find what is missing, but I understand that Mr. Okoye is back online. Let me quickly give him this one before I let him go. Mr. Okoye, are you online now? Yeah, okay. So,
yes,
now,
I'm
many
here.
see, the post-election litigations, somehow is part of the process these days. What are we expecting, and what are you doing differently concerning these elections? Because, for instance, based on experience, you can see the Bayelsa situation twice now. A governor-elect was warming up. A court verdict told him to step down from the podium while doing rehearsals for what was supposed to happen the next day. And then 1 in 7 now, they say we should go back and do the votes again. So, are we doing anything to avoid such scenarios where we might again end up in court and then we proceed from there?
Well, post-election litigation is part of the democratic process, and we cannot escape from it. The designers of our constitution recognize that no election is perfect, and based on that, they decided to design an electoral process that accommodates post-election litigation. But what are we doing differently? In terms of the nomination processes of political parties, in terms of political parties nominating underage candidates, it will not happen anymore. Because what we have done is that we design our portal in such a way that all political parties must submit the list of their nominated candidates and their personal particulars electronically. So we remove human interface. So if any political party wants to nominate an underage candidate, the portal will not allow that particular political party to do that. So we have eliminated that portion of the challenge. And so we are doing a lot of things differently that we reduce to the barest minimum post-election litigation. But post-election litigation is part of the democratic process.
Now, finally, before I let you go, what should we be expecting in terms of on the day? What new things? Is this social distancing? Are you bringing sanitizers for us at the polling units? What are we expecting?
Well, we are going to provide hand sanitizers to all our ad hoc staff. We are going to provide face masks for all our ad hoc staff, and we are going to provide methylated spirit for our smart card readers. But we have made it very clear that the voters themselves must go to the polling units with their face mask or face covering, and water will be provided, the soap will be provided, and then we are going to mark out portions for social distancing. And then we are going to have a 2-tier queuing system at the polling unit, an inner queue and an outer queue, and people will be led into the inner queue in batches. Our appeal is that the electorate should cooperate so that we can conduct this election in health and in safety. But in terms of preparations, we're on top of the situation, and we are determined to conduct this particular election.
Thank you.
I believe we are on course.
Thank you, Mr. Okoye, for being a part of it. We'll still, of course, in the course of this process, while we're, in the run of today, D-Day, continue to reach you for more insights. Thank you very much. Dr. Imam is still here, and he made some, give us some insight. I'm almost thinking about the scenario where we might even be having sanitizers with party logos. So if you are not going to vote for me, maybe I won't give you the sanitizer. But yes. Moving away from that, the electorate have a role to play in all this, because if you are going to come out with all those, that means you are determined to be part of the process.
Precisely. The electorates are very, very important and an inimical part of an electoral process. But beyond just the electorate, the responsibility, the onus actually is on the political parties themselves. You see, this is the reason why we consistently talk about the missing links within our political parties, issues within our political parties. Now, political parties are not just supposed to wrestle, contest elections, win elections, and at the end of a 4-year circle, return back to the electorate, canvass for votes and all of that. Within that 4-year circle, there's a responsibility on the part of the political parties. You need to sensitize the people, you need to create awareness. The electoral umpire has talked about it, providing sanitizers and face masks to its own people. What happens to the electorate? So it is the responsibility of the political parties to understand that these sort of issues, as they arise, are their responsibility to take on as far as their relationship with the electorate is concerned. These are some of the responsibilities that we talk about as far as political parties are concerned. And beyond that, there are a host of other issues that they must also put into consideration as well.
All right, in our series on getting to know the candidates, APC's Pastor Osage Izeyam sat down with a political update to talk on the simple agenda as well as the need for violence-free and credible elections.
I'm amazed. I thought that because of COVID-19, the turnout in our rallies would be quite moderate, but the turnout has been huge. And I'm talking about in the 3 senatorial, in the 18 local governments, without thousands of people, where we did not really prepare for that kind of number. Normally before, we would spend so much money on publicity, mobilizing and the rest of it, but this time it wasn't so. And in spite of that, the turnout was huge in all the local governments. I can send you the videos, you can see them on tape. And not only did they come, they were passionate, enthusiastic. And they were saying that we support you, we support your simple agenda. This is your time, God's time is now. So I'm grateful to Edo people for still believing in me and for the support they have shown. You have to understand that I have the experience. I know our people quite well, and I can separate, the serious from the unserious, from those who know what they want to achieve and those who don't. So, being able to get the right team will actually be the least of my problem. I'm very conversant with the major players in the state. And I must confess to you that even in crafting the simple agenda, I had to talk with a couple of people. So I know those who genuinely have what it takes to do well. Political support is one thing, succeeding in government is another thing. But then I think that the most challenging is not even winning, but doing well. And I can assure you that we are going to have the right team that will ensure that the expectations of our people are met. I want to appeal to our people not to be afraid. By the grace of God, there will be no violence. Of course, there are those who want to create an atmosphere that would ensure that people are scared to come out to vote, but who want to appeal to them that there will be no violence. I believe that there will be adequate security, and so those who are threatening violence, we have themselves to blame on that day. And for our supporters, and even for those on the other side, my advice is that they should not even attempt to be used, to create violence. Because when they are caught, even those who sponsor them will disown them. So it's not in their interest to get involved. And for our people, it's an opportunity, a once in a 4-year opportunity to decide the kind of government you want for the next 4 years. So they shouldn't play with it. And I'm appealing to them to come out en masse.
All right, Know Your Candidate series. We'll be expecting to have other candidates vying for GRA Benin City, talking about the seat of government there. Very quickly, let's get this one from the People's Democratic Party. The party says it is committed to the conduct of peaceful and transparent primary election for the senatorial by-elections in Lagos, Cross River, and Bayelsa states.
Members of the PDP have been visiting the Wadata House, National Secretariat of the party, for what they described as wider consultation ahead of the senatorial elections into the Lagos seat and Cross River North senatorial districts, following the death of the senators representing the senatorial zones. For Bayelsa State, seats for 2 senatorial districts are vacant. The seats were vacated by the governor of Bayelsa State, Doye Diri, and his deputy, Lawrence Erujapo.
We will continue as part of our responsibilities to call the attention or bring to the attention what is happening in our society. We will not fail in our duty to do that.
The woman who departed, the woman who just exited, I contested election with her and I fared very well in the field.
Whatever it takes to ensure that the will of the people prevails is what we will do.
The leadership of the PDP is confident that the party will always put the people's collective aspirations at the forefront of its objectives and endeavor to discourage the imposition of candidates, as this will ensure the emergence of best individuals for elective positions.
Right. Let's end the program the way we started. We started from Bamako, Mali. The talks with the junta deadlocked. Dr. Blake Jonathan was saying that you will be briefing, the extraordinary session of ECOWAS. Your word on Mali. How do we resolve this conundrum very quickly?
Well, resolving the conundrum will require us going to the root of the problem, the very basics, those fundamental foundational issues that created room for these coups to happen in 2012 and for it to rear its head again. There are the problems of income inequality, there are the problems of gap in wealth distribution, there are the problems of, you look at the Human Development Index and you look at the place of Mali on the list, it's appalling. Until and unless these issues are given consideration, until and unless leaders in Africa realize that the sit-tight syndrome is not going to be in their favor anymore, and that you must legitimize yourself in office, we will consistently see this political instability reoccur. So I am afraid, well, there is no end in sight to this at present, given the narrative and the direction that leaders in Africa have taken as far as public office is concerned. Well, I do hope, and I'm trying to be optimistic, that an end to the crisis comes real quick. Coups are no longer fashionable. Of course, the junta is not going to last so long there. The world is opposed to the junta, as far as constitutional democracy is concerned. So I am sure there will be, at the ECOWAS level, some kind of negotiation that would resolve, that would lead to an interim government coming on board before perhaps an election is conducted in Mali.
All right, thank you very much. Dr. Mukhtar has been here, Mukhtar Imam from Base University, giving us his word of experience, of course, from international relations. Thank you for being a part of it. And of course, we will also invite you as the events unfold. That has been Political Update for today. NTA's Eclectic Ensemble that gives you the very best of political news. Of course, we'll also be giving you an eye, of course, on Benin and on those states as events unfold from those 2 states. We'll be back on Friday, God willing, with a better, brighter package. Bye-bye now.